Right. It was some random movie that my first girlfriend and I would see. I think it was City of Bones. Like Mortal Instinct.
Never heard of it.
I didn't pay attention to the entire movie. I'm being honest. We were in high school. What do you expect? Nah. But I remember the one thing I
I
remember about
expected you to pay attention.
it was a throwaway movie that I wanted to go see with a girl I was dating. What did you expect to happen?
I expected you to come back with notes to the next scout meeting and tell us all what happened in the film verbatim.
What happened in the film is I watched 5 minutes, then I made out the rest of the time.
All right, back to this film. So, what's poppin', y'all? Welcome to Post Finale. I'm your host, Ankit Madhira. I'm an actor and a musician who hasn't seen a lot of films, so to make my friends happy and potentially provide a new perspective on some popular films, I'm on a quest to change that. Not on this quest alone, however. This week I am joined by my friend and someone who is one of the reasons this podcast exists, T.J. Werner. T.J., welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, bro. Thank you for having me back. Appreciate you. Appreciate the invite.
Of course. I couldn't finish off this film without you. That would just be wrong.
Fair enough.
So,
well, glad to be on this journey with you, even if I am one of the reasons that you. Even if I did semi-bully you into doing it.
I mean, like, I've seen significantly more films now. Not that many more, but, like, significantly more.
Well, it's a start. Even if you did go over Barbie Fairytopia instead of Gladiator.
Hey, they are films.
Yes, they're certainly some of the films of all time.
What?
They certainly are some of the films of all time.
It was a film trilogy, and we still have 4 and 5 left to do.
It was one of the trilogies ever made.
It was a trilogy. So,
A trilogy.
Yeah. But we're not talking about a trilogy. We're talking about The Shining, and we're here to finish off The Shining this week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just as a refresher, where we're at, what's going on in The Shining, before we jump into our fun fan question and everything like that. So, Grady and Jack just had an entire conversation in the bathroom where pretty much Grady told Jack to take care of his family, aka REDRUM backwards his whole family. So, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the notion that the hotel generally just wants him to unalive everybody is concerning.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with this, apparently. There's a lot wrong with this. But, before we get into how that's gonna go, I need to ask you a question, though, TJ. I know you're not an actor, but if you were to play somebody in this film, who would you want to play, and you cannot play Jack?
No, Jack's the obvious answer.
Jack's too easy of an answer, so I'm taking him out of the equation for this question. Like, usually I don't take anybody out. Jack is a very obvious answer for this film. So
naturally. Tough to say. So, with regards to my acting background, it's not nearly as extensive as yours. I did take acting classes for a few years when I was in high school, and I even took when I was in college. I always enjoyed acting. It was just never anything that I ever saw myself doing long term. But I definitely wish I had done it more as a kid and as a young adult. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot. So as something that probably won't surprise you, but I'm going to say it anyway, I always enjoyed playing villainous characters a bit more. Are you the least bit surprised by that?
No.
That
just tracks.
Yeah, I always enjoyed playing villainous characters a bit more.
If it makes you feel better, I do too. Playing villains are fun. You get to say things that you as yourself know you shouldn't say, but
exactly. That's why
it's oddly satisfying to say it.
It is. It's just fun. Villains just have more fun. Always. That's why they're always
also
laughing.
Like one of my favorite things is when someone meets like an actor who is like famous for playing a villain, and then they're just like, he's so kind in real life. It's like, because that's not him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you look at Christopher Lee and all the roles he played. I mean, like he played, what is it? Dracula. He was in Man with the Golden Gun. He was Saruman. He wasn't Sauron. He was Saruman, the bad wizard.
Right. Sorry,
Yeah,
Saruman.
and he
I should
was.
be ashamed of myself.
Yes, you should. But the fact that you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings this is not the time to go into that sort of subject.
I've
Despite my
seen
best
all
effort.
of them multiple times. What are you talking about? I just got the
Really?
names flipped because they're the same. They're so similar. I keep getting the names flipped
That
between the
is
two of them.
actually news to me. I did not know you'd seen them. I really
Dude,
did not see them.
I've seen them and read the books, and you call yourself my friend.
We've never talked about it.
Yes, we have.
No, we have not. We have never talked about the subtleties of Tolkien.
Okay, fine.
We have never
I
talked
know
about
what we're doing next time we meet up.
Yes, we are. Very good. I just bought the Silmarillion actually, so we can talk about that. Okay, yes,
Ooh.
yeah. I wanted to read the some of the more extended Legendarium, but that's a story for another time. Anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, back to our topic at hand. In terms of characters I'd like to play, honestly, can I pick two? Because they're both sort of side characters.
Sure.
I'd pick Lloyd, and I'd pick Grady.
Okay.
I think they both. I think they both have their own role in in progressing the story forward. They're both symptoms of Jack's madness, I would say, or maybe they're not symptoms at all. Maybe it's just the actual hotel. They're sort of instances of what the hotel is actually trying to do to this man. But I would say because they both have individual roles, they're both chilling in their own way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they all really push the story along. And even if they're only on screen for a little bit, they have such an indelible impact that you really can't help but remember that role specifically.
Yeah, that's very true.
Plus just the whole, if I may be so bold, sir. That's just, I love it.
It's a chilling line.
It is. It is.
Very nice.
I think that'd be pretty intense, I would say, but satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a method actor the way that some people are, so I don't think I would get as into that character as I would some other people. But
yeah, I'm not a method actor either. Not my cup of tea. It works for some people. Not me, at least in my journey so far.
I mean, yeah, I should hope not. I mean, that's I mean, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against method acting. It's just you really, really have to commit to it. And it takes a certain, how do I put this? A certain strength of will to commit to it, and a certain strength of character not to lose yourself in that role. Because if you do, like, I mean, it's like when Heath Ledger was playing the Joker. You know, he basically locked himself in a trailer. I mean, he kept a journal, took a ton of drugs, and by the end of that time, before he came out into the role, the end of his journal was just like 2 pages of ha 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 ha.
Huh? I didn't know that.
I learned that
have
recently.
seen the Dark Knight trilogy though.
That's good. Those are some of the finest films ever made. The only superhero movies I would say are not superhero movies.
Yeah, none of them felt like superhero movies. It
They're not
more felt
superhero
like
movies.
Christian Bale was on a mission to just fix town.
Yep. And he had Gary Oldman doing a very good American accent. Actually, I was very impressed by that.
I mean, it's almost like he's a really good actor.
Yeah, he is. But I also remember reading this. After playing that role, he actually went to speech therapy to get his British accent back.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're talking about The Shining, even though we're 10 minutes into this recording, roughly, and haven't spoken a single word about The Shining, really. So where we are currently, we hear the forest ranger, and he's calling KDK-12 on the radio. Jack hears the radio, heads into the room, and he looks straight at the radio, and just like I guessed, he opens up the radio and pulls something out of it, effectively breaking the radio. Oh no, who could have predicted? Oh wait. Most people with the brain.
He's slowly starting to lose it, but now we see he's starting to lose it, and it's not just implied off screen.
Yeah, it's oh no, like he is there now. He is ready to do the hotel's bidding.
He is ready to unalive everybody.
Yay! We're on a mission. So
Yeah.
Dick is on a flight meanwhile, and presumably I'm guessing he's trying to go back to the hotel. This is my best guess of where Dick is going. If he's not going back to the hotel, wow, that's a spanner thrown into the works. So he's also then in a car, which does not look fit to drive well in the snow. It's a small little fella. And I was like, oh, they do let him pass, even though he's passing by a semi-truck or a lorry that has flipped over. So, that's
Maybe
a choice.
maybe this is just not a good idea. Maybe I understand why he's doing it, but
Danny needs help.
He does need help, but there's a lot of signs here why this is not going to end well for our friend Mr. Halloran. I'm concerned about
I
this.
really like him. No, things are going to end well. What are you talking about? I am in denial. Things are going to end well.
This is a Stephen King book, dude. Nothing ends well. I'm reading the wall. I'm reading the signs on the wall here before there's actually writing on the wall.
I am too. Do I think Dick is living through the end of the book? No.
Absolutely
Do I want to think that well, not the end of the book, the end of the film? No. Do I want him to?
Obviously.
Yes.
Of course. Of course we want him to. He's a great guy. He's one of the
He's fantastic.
He's great. Who doesn't love Dick Halloran? But I have grave concerns that there's a lot of signs here that this is just not going to go well for him, and I'm concerned about that.
Well, let's see what the signs hold, okay? Meanwhile, we're at Wendy, and she's walking around with a bat looking for Jack. Hey, that rhymes. So we go from a bright room to a not well lit part of the room. Oh no. And she heads over to the typewriter and starts to read what is there. And all that is there is all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Written 5 times. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, all right, cool. It was written 5 times. Oh no. It was written much more than 5 times. Because then she looks at all the pages.
Pages and pages. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Over and over and over again.
Something that I found interesting was that all the pages were formatted slightly differently. Some of them were written in paragraph form. Some of them looked like they were in bullet point form. Some of them were in all caps. Some of them were not in all caps. Some of them random letters were capitalized. Some of them the last word wasn't boy. It became bog. It became bot. It became bet. So, there were many different little ways. Jack is sometimes in capitals. The random A in Jack would be in capitals. So they're all written slightly differently, but it's all in essence the same sentence.
Yep. And I don't think it's a sign of how far he's gone. For me, it was a sign of how long he's actually been gone. That he's been working on this book for weeks now, and for weeks he has been gone.
Yeah, I was curious, and we didn't see it, if maybe the first 2 pages at the bottom of that pile were actual book, and then it was all of these. But we never got there. We never saw it. We only saw a bunch of this. So I wonder where in the process of being there he lost his mind. But it's not explained. So obviously Wendy's like, this is messed up, and looks over all of the work he's been doing. It's all the same. As we just said, the music, almost like cicadas or insects, thousands of small buzzing noises start coming in, and we see a shot of her rifling through the papers from behind, and oh look, it's Jack's point of view, and he sneaks up on her.
Oh boy.
Is like, how do you like it? And Wendy is terrified. She screams, clutching the bat. Jack asks what she's doing here. Wendy struggles to get the words out, but says that she wanted to talk to him, and Jack's like, okay, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? Wendy hesitates even more. She can't remember. And I'm just like, look, Wendy, obviously you're terrified, but like maybe if you speak, he won't attack you right away. So come up with something. Like, just, you've been lying to him. Just lie to him.
Yeah,
Jack starts to...
Just carry on.
Just carry on. Don't do what you're about to do.
Yeah,
so
that would not go well.
Jack starts walking towards her. Wendy starts backing away. In a distorted voice, we hear Jack as if Danny can hear the conversation from afar. Like Danny's in some other room. And Jack says, well, maybe it was Danny. Maybe it was about him. Danny sees the door with...
I don't know about that.
Well, I said maybe. Maybe it was like Danny could understand. I don't know. I'm new to this.
You're an actor. You are a patent expert at this.
At knowing if Danny can hear his dad from a distance in a film that I've never seen before? How?
Because, like, suspend your disbelief. Things like that.
That's why I'm thinking... TJ, this is the whole reason why I think Danny can hear his dad from far away.
Yes, I know. I'm teasing you. No,
why do I invite you back to these things?
Because I pester you about it at least once a week.
Okay. Yeah, that's also fair. So, Danny sees the door with REDRUM written backwards on it. And he sees the blood-filled room, and now it's a completely red tinge, almost as if he has been dunked in blood, and then everything now has a red tinge to it. And we just hear Jack's distorted voice again. I think we should talk about Danny. Talk about him. Discuss what should be done with him. And we're back to Jack and Wendy.
With him. Boy.
Done with him, not to him.
Done with
not
him.
About him. Not with him. No, sorry, with him. Like, what should we do with him?
That's concerning phrasing. I don't know about that.
Yeah, not the most ideal phrasing you want to hear from your father.
You know, if my dad ever said that about me, I would be concerned. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Tends to be the case. So Wendy's sobbing, saying, "I don't know," because she's just scared. Now, I do know some of it. That, like, apparently, like, for the actress who played Wendy, filming this film was really difficult, specifically towards the end. Do you know any more about that?
Officially, no. If I had to guess, I would say probably because it's intensely psychological. Like, this is probably one of the hardest psychological movies ever made. And I mean, like, I actually when you asked me to do this, I was up in Philly visiting my family, and I told my mother that I was going to be doing this, and she said The Shining is one of the two movies in her life she's been in the cinema to see and has walked out of. She couldn't finish it.
Did she ever finish it?
Well, I don't know if she did or not, but I would assume probably not. But no,
well, let your mother know. I highly recommend watching it on a sunny day at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It's not as terrifying.
I watched it at 10:30 in the morning in bed.
Yeah.
I just got up and took a shower and had some tea afterwards. It was good. Watching this at night before bed, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
No. I did my prep for it during the day rather than at night. I was like, this is not one that I need to watch at night. We're good.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but this is not a bedtime movie. This is a sunny afternoon movie. For
some people, it's a random Tuesday evening. We're not those people.
No, no, absolutely not.
To those people, enjoy.
To those people, seek help.
No, not necessarily. Some of them may be very sound, but maybe
Maybe potentially some of them should seek help.
could
Possibly.
could you shoot us a message, enlighten us?
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to do it. Just the thought
Why?
process. The thought process.
Yeah, why is this your, I'm bored on a Tuesday evening, let's throw this on film?
When I'm bored on a Tuesday evening, I throw on Vikings, or I throw on Star Wars, or maybe if I've had a tough day at work and I'm just not feeling myself, I'll throw on SpongeBob because it's easy and lighthearted. This is not a movie that I would go to on a random night and be like, yes, this is what I'm going to watch to wind down.
I don't know. The only thing, because I posted on my Instagram looking for people and friends who had seen this film, and one of my friends from college, Kala, sent me a message and was like, it's a great film. I can't talk enough about it to be able to be on your podcast, but fun anecdote here. Joe, a mutual friend of ours, had his first kiss during this film. So, shout out to Joe.
I'm sorry, what?
He's getting married soon. He may have already been married when this came out. So, yay, Joe. Miss you, bud.
Congratulations.
That was my reaction, too. But he was like, I thought this might be funny if you wanted to include it. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? He's getting married, so I guess it worked in the end. So congratulations.
I think he's getting married to a different person, but good for Joe.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense then. Fair enough. Let's see. What did I have my first? I know I had mine at the movies as well. What was it? Right. It was some random movie that my first girlfriend I would see. I think it was City of Bones.
Never heard of it.
I didn't pay attention to the entire movie. I'm being honest. We were in high school. What do you expect? Nah. But I remember the one thing I remember.
I expected you to pay attention.
It was a throwaway movie that I wanted to go see with a girl I was dating. What did you expect to happen?
I expected you to come back with notes to the next scout meeting and tell us all what happened in the film verbatim.
What happened in the film is I watched 5 minutes, then I made out the rest of the time.
All right, back to this film. So,
yeah, but what was the other one? The only thing I remember about it is that it had because I had just seen Game of Thrones season 1 before that summer, and I'm like, huh, she was Cersei Lannister, and now she's in this film. That's pretty cool.
Okay. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so I have no idea.
It's violent. It's more violent than this.
Sure. Steven's been trying to get me to watch Game of Thrones. He was like, we can do it for adaptations. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be sad and depressed, so I'm not willing to do it.
The secret, do not get attached to anybody.
Oh, no, I don't mean about that. I just mean disappointing season 8.
You know, right before I left London, after I got home from work, or while I was sitting at Starbucks doing job applications, or at least pretending to, I would watch Game of Thrones. All the way up to the end of season 7, I was still like, yes, this is good. I am here for it. I still love it. This is still great. I gotta tell you, dude, I started watching season 8 again, and I just... It's one of those things, every time I watch it, I hope it's going to go differently. Every time I watch it, I tell myself, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to like it more. I never do. And it breaks my heart because I was all in on that show all the way up through season 7.
This is why I don't want to watch it. Steven says you can stop after season 4, but I would be invested at that point.
Season 5 and 6 are good. Even season 7 is decent. I mean, I wouldn't say season 7 is the best season, but it's certainly not bad.
I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah. We should maybe get back to the film on hand. So, Wendy's sobbing, and Jack says that he doesn't think that it is true and believes that Wendy has some definite ideas of what should be done with Danny, and he'd like to know what they are. Wendy finally gets out that maybe he should be taken to a doctor. And Jack goes, oh, maybe he should be taken to a doctor. Like, he's just mocking
He
her
should
at
be
this
taken
point.
to a doctor. She
Yeah,
does have
and
that actress does have a mockable voice. If I'm being honest,
she does.
I did not care for that for her performance.
But I mean, like, it works. It works.
Oh yeah, it worked already. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. She says yes. Jack's like, and she's like, as soon as possible. And he's like, as soon as possible. Like,
no.
it's fantastic. Well done by Jack Nicholson. Well done by both of them. Like, this scene, truly great from both of them. Like, amazing performances from both. Wendy pleads to Jack. Jack mentions that, Wendy believes his health might be at stake and that she is concerned about Danny. And it's like, are you concerned about me? And she's like, of course I am. And he's like, of course you are. And I'm like, yes, Jack, I'm here for it. I'm here for the mocking.
That's a little selfish of him, isn't it?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, it is selfish, but like also his mocking on point.
There's.
Don't get me wrong. What he's attempting to do, terrible. I'm solely discussing the mocking at this point. On
Okay,
point.
fair enough.
The underlying issues of what he's trying to do, horrible. But the mocking, well executed. So he's like, well, ever thought of my responsibilities? And she's like, what are you talking about? And he goes off on this beautiful monologue. Have you ever thought for a single moment's thought about my responsibilities? Have you ever thought about for a single solitary moment about my responsibilities to my employers? Has it ever occurred to you that I agreed to look after the Overlook Hotel until May the 1st? Does it matter to you at all that the owners have placed their complete confidence and trust in me, and that I have signed a letter of agreement, a contract, in which I have accepted that responsibility? Do you have the slightest idea what a moral and ethical principle is? Do you? Has it ever occurred to you what would happen to my future if I were to fail to live up to my responsibilities? Has it ever occurred to you? Has it? Great. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Very well interpreted. Very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a flub there in the middle, but I powered on.
Yeah, no, that was well done. That was very well executed.
That flub was also, I was taking these notes quickly, and I mistyped a couple of words, so I had to process what they were. Thank you. I try. So Wendy tells Jack to stay away from her. She wants to go back to her room, and he's like, why? And she's just very confused. She needs a chance to think things over. And he's like, you've had your whole life to think things over. What's a good few minutes more gonna do for you now? And I'm just like, I will say, for Jack, again, what he's going for, terrible, right? What he's attempting to do, horrible. However, I am not on his side at all. Fantastic line, though.
Oh yeah. Jack Nicholson. This is Jack Nicholson's best role. I mean, he's the villain in my favorite movie, The Departed. This is his finest role. He is. I don't think anybody else could have played this role as well as him. I'm being perfectly honest.
Fair.
Maybe Willem Dafoe. But even then, I'm not so sure.
Willem Dafoe, fantastic actor. Would love to work with him one day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no. Again, his goal, horrible. His line, incredible.
Oh yeah. This was probably my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah.
So, oh my God.
it's just like, how are you going to say that? Also, I understand, but like, oh my God, like when you take a step back from like the horribleness of what he is saying, it's just like, he makes a valid point.
He does. That's true. He does. He's very. You know what? It's that it needed to be said. It needed to be said.
So throughout this whole exchange of what's going on, Jack is slowly creeping up on Wendy, and Wendy is trying to sneak away, going up the stairs backwards. Wendy is also swinging a bat to kind of keep Jack at bay and keep him at a distance. And Jack just goes, "I'm not gonna hurt you, Wendy, darling. Light of my life. I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
Jeez. Oh my days. What is this?
My reaction was solely, I feel like this is gonna hurt just a little bit.
The possibility exists. This is not gonna go well for our man here.
Yeah. Look, he's just gonna bash her brains in. Words are hard. I don't know what I just tried to say.
What time is
just
it
gonna
anyway?
No, it's only 9:15. We're good. It's not too late.
And there's no dog barking tonight, so fantastic.
Woo! You've jinxed it. The dogs are, knock on wood, the dogs don't show up. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand, in the last episode, we delayed the recording by an hour because of dogs barking, and they wouldn't be quiet. So, if you didn't hear any dogs barking in the last episode, if you haven't done it already, please give Pranav, the editor, flowers, because he got rid of them. So, he's just gonna bash some brains in, and Wendy starts to panic and keep swinging the bat, as she has been this entire time. Jack tells Wendy to put the bat down, give her the bat, blah, blah, blah. She hits Jack in the head, and then in the head... Oh, no, sorry. She hits Jack in the hand, and then in the head.
Yes,
I was like, what did I just said in the head twice. That's not right. She hits him in the hand, then in the head, causing Jack to lose balance and fall down the stairs. Fair enough. Wendy is sobbing. It happens. He fell down a flight of stairs. We see Jack is snoring, and he is being dragged across the floor, has a cut on his head where Wendy hit him, and Wendy is dragging Jack, trying to lock him. A cut on his head
from where Wendy hit him?
That's what I said. Hit him.
You said hit him. A cut in his head from where she hit him.
Words are hard. I even spelt hit him right. I spelt Wendy wrong, but I spelt hit him right.
I'm just going off what I heard myself.
Thanks, dude. So Wendy's dragging Jack. She's trying to lock him in a room, but she can't open the door because she didn't pull the bolt out of the lock, which I can notice without even zooming in on the lock. I'm like, you didn't pull the bolt out. It's right there. We'll pull the bolt out. Come on, pretty common. Jack starts to stir awake, and I was like, well, if Jack escapes because Wendy couldn't open the door in time, I feel like that's on her. At that point, it's her fault. But Wendy manages to get the door open. She drags Jack into the food pantry, and Jack's like, what are you doing? And Wendy runs out, locks the door to the food pantry. Wendy's sobbing and grabs a knife to protect herself, and Jack is shouting to let him out. Jack says, let me out, and I'll forgive the whole damn thing, just like nothing ever happened. Jack realizes this isn't working, and tries to play the emotional card, says Wendy hurt his head, hurt it real bad, he's dizzy, he needs a doctor, and Jack pleads for her not to leave him in there. Wendy says that she is going to go now, going to try and get Danny down to Sidewinder in the Snowcat today. I'll bring back a doctor. And then Jack starts to laugh maniacally and says, Wendy, I have a big surprise coming to you. Go check out the Snowcat in the radio. You'll see what I mean. And I was like, oh, did he also disable the Snowcat off screen? Ooh, maniacal. Here we go. He also thought of the escape plan. They couldn't show it to us, but well done, Jack Torrance, for thinking a step ahead. But also, don't do what Jack is trying to do, ladies and gentlemen. Again, what he's attempting to do, terrible, terrible thing.
Maniacal, evil, twisted, demented.
Horrible. However, as a character, he thought ahead.
He did.
You gotta give props where props are due. His goal, horrible idea, horrible thing to do. However,
he had an idea and he made it happen.
He is working actively. The tasks that he is doing are actively helping him reach his goal. That's all I'm saying.
Those tasks are utterly reprehensible, but...
Yes, again, horrible things that the tasks are as well.
He has a goal. He performs a series of tasks a series of tasks to accomplish them.
Yes.
He's industrious. Can't fault that.
Can't fault that. We can fault what his goal is and what the tasks are. Those are all terrible things. So this is where I was like, is there a scene, like a longer version, where they show him cutting out the snowcat, or did we just not see that at all?
I think
Did you see it?
I think I did. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, yeah, I'm pretty. There is a scene in there where he like just takes a pin out of the snowcat or something.
Okay,
He just
cool.
take that like the power coupling or something.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wasn't sure because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're unaware, there are two versions of this film: the 2-hour 20-minute cut, which is the American cut, and then the 2-hour cut, which is the European and worldwide cut. And when I was watching this, I watched the first half of the 2-hour 20-minute cut, and then I went back to find it, and I couldn't find it again. So I watched the 2-hour cut, but TJ was able to watch the 2-hour 20-minute cut. So that's why there's a little bit of discrepancy on maybe I missed a scene or something, because I ended up having to watch the European version. So
I mean, yeah, there's a couple of little ones, but if I'm being honest, the one for our purposes, the ones in the second half of the movie are all the ones you saw as well.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely. So Wendy is horrified and leaves the kitchen with Jack laughing maniacally, says, "Go check it out." Wendy runs outside and makes it to the snowcat, where she sees that Jack has left the door open and the roof of the car open, and to where the whole snowcat is frozen over and undrivable. Wendy grabs something and realizes that she isn't going to be able to get away. Now, this is where we are going to take our lovely intermission, take a quick break, talk about things, and we will come back and finish off the rest of The Shining. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. I hope you are all enjoying this episode, and if you want to gain access to more bonus content, like access to my notes and access to some of the tier lists that I make and help suggest films and things like that, all of that can be done over at our Patreon, and that can be found at patreon.com/coopforge. So that's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. Signing up for any of the tiers gets you different types of bonus content depending on the tier that you sign up for, and a shout out here on the show for every patron that signs up. It really means the world to us, and it helps us grow this show and helps us be able to put the money back into this show to make it a better experience for you, the listeners. That is our entire goal here at Co-op Forge. So thank you all so much if you are considering doing this. Now, if you want to help the show in a non-monetary way, that is fantastic as well. You can do so by just talking about us and sharing it with a friend. Just reach out to a friend and be like, hey, you love movies, or hey, you need an excuse to watch more movies. Check out this show called Post Finale. The host is silly, he's an actor, he's confused most of the time, gets a lot of guesses wrong, but overall it's a lovely time and some interesting discussions about some iconic films. I think you'll really enjoy it. It really does help. And be sure to talk about us on social media and follow us on social media. That really helps out a lot as well. If you're looking for the show, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Post Finale Pod. And then you can also find us at Co-op Forge on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And that's at Co-op Forge at CO_OPFORGE. And we post content not just from Post Finale, but from the other shows here on Co-op Forge as well. So that includes Flip the Scripts, and that includes Seattle Across the Pond. So be sure to follow both of those channels. Again, it's at Post Finale Pod and at Co-op Forge, CO_OPFORGE. But just thank you so much for listening to this episode. Wherever you are, if you're enjoying the episode, if you're listening on YouTube, please please hit subscribe. It really does help us out. If you're listening on a podcast app, that's great as well. It doesn't matter to us where you're listening. We're just so thankful that you're listening. But if you're listening on a podcast app, please leave a rating. It really does help us out. Please leave a review and hit that follow button. You can also turn on notifications both on YouTube and on the podcast apps just to be notified when new episodes come out. It really does mean a lot that you are all listening to these episodes, and thank you all so much. So let's get back to the episode without further ado. And we're back. So it's now 4 p.m. I'm guessing on Wednesday. So Jack is asleep in the food pantry, and there is a knocking at the door. He wakes up with a headache, and it's, hey, look, our favorite British friend, Delbert Grady, back at the door. And I was like, well, at least Wendy locked him in there with food. We can see that he's had some crackers, some peanut butter, some Oreos, probably something else, but it's hard to make out what it is. And I was like, oh, hey, I have a similar pair of boots. Gold Timberlands. Nice choice. I noticed boots. So,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Jack,
I never got into Tim's. They always seemed a little bit tough for my feet.
they are nice. I don't know if I would buy another pair necessarily, but I
They're
needed.
expensive too, aren't they?
I got mine secondhand.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So I know
So-
new Tim's can be a little expensive.
Yeah. I bought mine at like some secondhand shoe store in London. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was like a secondhand shoe store. And then they were also on clearance. So like it was already cheaper and then cheaper. And then they had my size. So I was like, cool.
Easy,
So-
easy.
Yeah. But Jack gets up and starts chatting with Grady, and Grady can see that Jack had, hardly taken care of business as they had discussed. Jack says, well, there's no need to rub it in. I'll take care of it as soon as I can, as soon as I get out of here. And he just says, indeed you will, Mr. Torrance. He has no doubts, and Grady and the others have come to believe that Jack doesn't have the stomach for this. Jack scoffs at the idea, asks for one more chance to prove it. That's all he asks for, just one more chance. Grady says that Wendy is stronger than they imagined, somewhat more resourceful. Got the better of him, is what Jack says. And Jack says only for the moment. Grady says that he will have to deal with the matter in the harshest way possible. That is the only thing to do. Jack looks forward to it, gives his word, and the door then unlocks. How does the door unlock by a ghost?
The Overlook Hotel might be alive. Might be alive.
Like, it's a sentient being now? I was all perfectly fine with there being ghosts, right?
I don't know, dude.
Perfectly fine with that. How can it open a door?
This hotel is there's something going on with it. It's either the hotel itself is alive, or it is significantly, severely haunted.
It's dumb. It's dumb. That's what it is. It's dumb.
It's Stephen King. Just kind of go with it.
Ghosts have limitations.
Yes.
Opening physical doors should be one of those limitations.
I can't speak to that.
Fine. So we see the snowcat and it is being driven. And I was like, I guess Wendy got it working. And, why was she so upset earlier? And then I was like, oh, wait, that's why. It's not Wendy. It's our good friend Dick. He's made it. He's gonna show up. He's gonna grab Danny and he's gonna flee. And nothing bad is going to happen. And, we'll see. So, meanwhile, back with Danny and Tony, Tony just keeps repeating REDRUM, REDRUM,
REDRUM, REDRUM.
As Danny walks up to a sleeping Wendy in her bed. Danny reaches over for the knife and runs the thumb on his knife, the sharp part. Ooh, he's a dangerous child. Danny then slowly walks away with the knife and picks up his mom's lipstick.
Lipstick. Yeah.
lipstick. I wrote music, which is not the right thing. Don't know where I wrote that from. It's lipstick. Um, oh, this is why. Is because as I was writing this note, I was like, he picks up his mom's lipstick, but then the next note I wanted to be about the music, so I must have combined the two.
Yeah, I do that.
So,
I do that every
because
now and then. Yeah.
here I was saying that the score is just a lot of synths acting as drones with horns and strings coming in only occasionally. It really gives that airiness feel to it. Very intriguing. Danny takes the lipstick and he writes REDRUM on the door. Now, the way that he writes it is very interesting. The R and the E are normal. The D and the R are backwards, and then the U and M are U and M because U and M are symmetrical letters. For anyone that hasn't put together what REDRUM is yet, I will spell it for you one more time very slowly and understand what it is backwards. Because even if I say it, it'll get bleeped out in the episode. Yay. So it is REDRUM. I hope you can spell. What in the world? How did that happen? What just happened?
What was that?
I don't know. For anyone watching on YouTube and audio listeners,
All right, yeah, that's you,
I'll
man.
try to post a clip of this. But I did that. I put up 2 thumbs up, and then fireworks happened in the background of my video. I didn't change any settings. I didn't touch my computer. But okay. So
I mean, yeah.
Why not?
For those of you who can't figure it out, how about I spell another word? UNALIVE.
Well, we can say the word unalive. So
Unalive, yes. REDRUM equals unalive.
Yes. The voice of Tony gets louder and faster, and Wendy jolts awake and sees Danny holding a knife and lipstick looking at his mother. Just like, "Hi, Mom, I got a knife and some lipstick." So Wendy grabs the knife from Danny, tells him to stop it. She can hear Tony/Danny saying REDRUM, and she gets scared as then in the reflection, she sees REDRUM in the mirror and sees what it's spelling backwards, which is the same as unalive. So suddenly there is a banging on the door, and hey, look, it's Jack with an axe. And I was like, oh, is this gonna be where we get the "here's Johnny"? Like, we'll figure it out. So he's working on busting down the door, and Wendy opens the door to the bathroom, grabs Danny, and they both go and hide. She opens the window to the bathroom and sees if, they can potentially climb out. And Jack has made a hole in the door, and he's just smiling into it. And he's like, "Wendy, I'm home." Which gives me the same vibes as "Lucy, I'm home" from I Love Lucy.
Yeah,
beautiful,
that's exactly.
Wonderful callback. Also, fantastic show. So Jack unlocks the door, and Wendy sends Danny out the window and down the roof. He slides down, and I was like, aw, looks like fun if you're not being chased by your dad who's trying to unalive you. But like the slide part, yay! Meanwhile, Wendy's trying to get out of the window as well, but it's a small window. She seems stuck. Wendy isn't able to get out, so she climbs back into the bathroom. Jack is limping through the room, and he's like, come out, wherever you are. Wendy is struggling with the window, tries to open it just a little more. It isn't working. And then she tries to crawl back out the opening again. She tries to do this without actually opening the window any more than she had done so previously. What did she think was going to change?
I just chalk that up to another reasons why I do not care for this, for Wendy.
Sure. Jack tries the door to the bathroom, realizes it's locked, and then smiles maniacally. Wendy whispers to Danny that she can't get out, tells him to run and hide. Danny does so. Jack is at the door. Little pigs, let me come in.
Little pigs, let me come in.
Okay, I'll let you do this
part. By the hair of your chinny chin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. Thwack.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening, Wendy hides with the knife by the door, and we hear the whacking. Jack breaks through, he sticks his head in, and goes,
"Here's Johnny!"
"Yay! We made it to the one scene and you existed in the film!"
We love it.
He reaches in to open the door, and Wendy hits his hand with the knife. Hey, well done, Wendy. Good job.
Good. Finally got one. Love it.
Finally got one. Dick's making some progress. He can see the lights in the distance, and he can see the hotel. Wendy hears the snowcat approaching, and so does Jack. Dick arrives in the hotel and stops outside. Danny's running through the halls and hides in one of the kitchen cupboard thingies. And Jack limps his way into the kitchen. Wendy breaks down in the bathroom. She tries to get out of the bathroom, but the handle seems busted. Dick makes it into the hotel from the open door that Wendy went through to check on the snowcat. Jack walks past the red double doors, and Dick starts saying, "Hello? Anybody here? Hello?" And I was like, oh no, I don't have a good feeling about this. Please don't kill Dick. I don't want anything bad to happen to Dick. Dick is a saint. He came to save a child. Leave Dick alone. He's making his way through the hotel. He's not getting any responses. And then Jack comes flying around the corner with his axe and hits Dick square in the chest. Dick screams. So does Danny, because he can see/feel it all in real time. And I was like, oh, damn. He was just trying to come here to help, and he gets killed because of it. That sucks.
Nah, he gets unalived because of it.
Can we not say killed?
Dude, I don't know. I don't want you to get demonetized.
I don't know. I've lost track of what we can and can't say anymore. So, he gets unalived because of it. But if he knew what was going on, shouldn't he have brought a weapon of some sorts? Just a thought?
You'd think so.
Okay. Yeah, one would think. One would have thunk. But I guess not. Jack is up, and he is smiling over Dick's not moving body.
Unalived self.
His not moving body. And Jack starts looking for Danny, and Danny gets out of his hiding place and starts to run. Yeah, and Wendy's also running around.
Dick. He wants to REDRUM Danny.
He just wants to REDRUM Danny. That's all he wants to do. Just play a game of REDRUM. So Wendy is also running around now looking for Danny. We hear some voices. Not sure what they're saying, but Wendy seems scared by them. Wendy looks into a room and sees a man in a suit and a person dressed as a bear?
I thought it was a dog.
Might be a dog.
It dresses something. Bear dog.
It's terrifying. And she's terrified and runs away. Jack is limping along, and he gets outside, chasing after Danny. And instead of going out in the dark, he does turn on the lights before he goes out to chase Danny. Danny is outside, hiding behind the snowcat. Jack starts to give chase, and Danny runs into the hedge maze. And I was like, I was right, it does come back! I felt vindicated. So, Danny seems to be doing really well in the maze, but Jack must be able to follow his footprints, is what I was thinking. And Jack yells, "Danny, I'm coming, Danny." And I was like, didn't he say earlier he wasn't going to hurt Danny? He has taken a full 180.
Yeah, he's not doing great.
Yeah, the poor Danny. So, Wendy makes it down to the kitchen, and she turns the corner up to the red double doors, and she sees Dick's body laying there on the floor, and the voices come back again. Behind her, we see an old man who is Grady, and he has a cut going through the middle of his face, but not exactly straight. It's more or less down the middle of his face, and he's dressed...
Like a slash.
It's kind of like a slash, but it's like a zigzag down the middle of his face.
Like over... like that, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not... It is still down the middle of his face. It's not like a slash like 45 degrees across his face. It's still going down the middle of his face, but it's not like a perfectly straight line. It's kind of like,
This took more than one attempt.
Yeah. So I was like, well, this is interesting. He is dressed in a tux. There is not a speck on the tux. He raises a glass and says, "Great party, isn't it?" And Wendy's terrified, runs to the red doors. Jack continues to chase Danny, who seems to have made it to the middle of the maze. Jack keeps shouting that Danny can't get away. He's right behind him. Meanwhile, Danny is methodically moving backwards a bit, stepping back into the footprints he has already made. He gets on his knees and starts covering up some of the footprints. Danny is an incredibly smart 5-year-old. Well done, Danny.
He's only 5?
Yes.
I thought he was a little bit older than that.
He might be 7, but like whatever his age is, he's an incredibly smart child.
Yeah, very much so.
So Wendy gets to the double doors and she starts to see the blood flowing down as well. She screams and runs again because that's all she's doing now. And Jack gets up around to where Danny is and keeps following his footprints until they suddenly stop. Jack realizes that he has been duped and he screams for Danny once again. Danny stays quiet in his hiding place. Jack goes away and Danny makes a break for it. Jack seems a little lost in the maze and is starting to get cold. Danny is still running and Wendy makes it outside to the snowcat that Dick has arrived in. Danny makes it out, reunites with his mother. And Jack, meanwhile, is still lost in the hedge maze and is starting to get very, very cold. Danny and Wendy both get into the snowcat and start driving away. And we see Jack falling over and shouting incohesively. Wendy and Danny drive off in the snowcat, presumably to Sidewinder to get away from all of this. Jack falls to the ground. We then cut to the next morning, and Jack is completely frozen. And I was like, is this a meme?
Yes. It's also, they also reference South Park as well.
I don't know. I've only seen a few episodes of South Park and the South Park movie.
Yeah, they parodied this one in basically they had Randy buy a Blockbuster in the age of streaming.
Don't know who Randy is, but that seems like a poor life choice.
Yeah, watch the show. You'll see it.
Yeah. So my friend Logan, who was the guest for the first half of this film, was referencing some sort of, meme. I'm guessing this is the meme that he was referencing. Logan, if you're listening to the episode, let me know if I was right. So, back inside the hotel, we are back hearing some ballroom music. And as we go outside the gold room, we see a wall with pictures. And we zoom in on the middle picture. And we see Jack at the front of a large group of people. There is some text at the bottom of this. That as we zoom in, we see that it says July 4th Ball, 1921. And then we zoom in, see Jack standing there smiling. Zoom down, see that text, and then we fade out and the credits roll. Huh?
He's always been there.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. What I think is like, I've heard, I did read something about this afterwards. I heard something like the hotel like reincarnates its caretakers or something. Like something about reincarnation for this. But I don't know.
But Grady wasn't the same.
Maybe he's just one of the ghosts.
Maybe. I don't know. Look, if any of the listeners...
That was one thing that I never really figured out.
If any of the listeners know what this means, have a theory of what this means, please let me know, because I am very confused. This is not how I expected the film to end. I thought that, Jack was probably going to die, Wendy was probably going to be unalived, and Dick was going to save Danny. I was very wrong. I only got one of those predictions right. So, yeah. Interesting film. Before we get into ratings and everything like that, I enjoyed the film. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. It's not something that I might go back and just pound on a random Tuesday night. Props to the people that want to do that. Again, if you are one of those people, why? No judgment. You watch what you enjoy. I'm just curious. Why is this something that you enjoy seeing on a random Tuesday night? But TJ, what would you rate this film? And then I'll give you my rating and we'll go through finishing up this episode, going through all the other ratings and all the other fun facts that I bring at the end.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
Give me an 8. It is one of the best films ever made, but it's tricky in some places and maybe a little bit superfluous with the violence. Give me an 8.
Sure. For me, just as an audience score, I'm not trying to ever be a critic for any of these. That's not my place to be a movie critic. My place is to, give my opinions. I'd give it a 7.5. Still a very solid film. Just, I feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities.
There was quite a bit that could have been different. Probably should have been different.
Yeah, like there were a lot of missed opportunities to where I just left my head scratching like, but this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's explained in the book, but...
So now that we finished the movie, in the book, Dick does save Danny and Wendy. Dick does survive.
Right. I do know that because, ladies and gentlemen, we also reviewed this film on Flip the Scripts, which is another podcast that we host, me and my friend Steven, where we look at adaptations. It's a very fun podcast. We're looking at a lot of fun stuff over there. If you're listening to this episode as it comes out, we just finished the Shining episodes last week and starting this week. So if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, we are starting looking at Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original cartoon TV show to the new live adaptation TV show that's coming out in 2 days' time. So
you're not talking about the M. Night Shyamalan masterpiece
over there. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the new TV show.
Good.
Yeah. So, lots of fun things happening over there. So I have read the book as well because I need to, but I read the book after I finished the film. So, I just finished the book. And I do know how the book ends. And, if you want more of my thoughts on how and which one I preferred, go check out that show. But yeah, I would say just as a film, I'd give it about a 7.5 because it's still a very enjoyable film, still a very good film. But I feel like the film missed out on many opportunities to just give us a little more information. Like, just opportunities to divulge some more character development, I would say. But, it is still one of the best films ever made. And speaking on that, IMDb has it rated as an 8.4 out of 10. It is number 67 on the IMDb Top 250 list. Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 83% critic score and 93% audience score. It has 6 wins across 9 nominations for various awards. And the budget was $19 million US, and the box office was $47.3 million US.
Well done.
So, they made their money back.
Incredibly overperformed.
Yeah. Did really well in the box office, everything like that. Now, that's everything I have here on The Shining for you all. TJ, thank you so much for joining these last 2 episodes. As always,
it is not have missed it. I hope it's sooner than the next year before I get to come back.
We'll work on that. My bad. But in the meantime, if people want to follow you and, see what you're doing, do you have a message for the world? Anything to promote out in the world for you?
Be well, take it easy, and just life is good.
Wonderful.
Remember that.
Well, on that beautiful note, we'll leave you there. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting my journey through Braveheart. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I have no idea what happens in that film at all, other than Mel Gibson is in it. This is all I know about Braveheart. Oh, and it has something to do with Scottish people.
Yes.
I know 2 things. So, we'll figure it out next week. But until then, I'll catch y'all later. And thanks so much for listening. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. Post Finale is created, hosted, and produced by me, Ankit Madhira. Our editor is Pranav Nair. The music is by Ankit Madhira and Megan Hutchison, and the art is by Jarid Rother. If you are all enjoying this episode and want to gain access to more bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge and signing up for any of the tiers. You get loads of different bonus content, such as notes and commentary that we have as we're watching the films, as well as some bonus audio, some bonus videos, and ad-free episodes, early access if we get them done early, and different things like that. All of that can be found at patreon.com/coopforge, and that's patreon.com/co_opforge. If you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that's great as well. Tell a friend about the show. Just reach out and be like, hey, you love films, or hey, you need an excuse to watch some more films. Check out the show called Post Finale. The host is an actor, and he's funny and silly, confused most of the time, but they have interesting discussions about some popular films that I think you would really enjoy. It really does help us out a lot. Be sure to talk about us on social media at Post Finale Pod on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also follow us at CoopForge, that's CO_OPFORGE, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And there we post content not just from Post Finale, but also from the other shows hosted here on Co-op Forge, which are Flip the Scripts and Seattle Across the Pond. So a lot of fun things can be found over there on our social media. It really, really does help us out a lot. Thank you to everyone who has already done this. Thank you to everyone who will do this in the future. It really does mean a lot to us, and it helps us create better content for you, the listeners, as we grow. It really does help, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale, and I can't wait until next week. And until then, I'll catch y'all later.